Before I do anything else, let me prove the title of this video to you and help you know what you're gonna get from this video. Real quick, people buy based off of their beliefs, and influencing people's beliefs is easier than influencing them to take out their credit card and actually buy something. Because if their beliefs line up with what you offer, then they will buy. And all sales are emotional sales first and logical later. I went ahead and downloaded straight from Stripe my numbers. This is a numbers sheet that you can see. You can see here count total 437. This is all of the names. Okay? And I just went ahead and selected all the names. At the bottom, it's giving me a total count. And you can see over here their spend with me. Okay? So this is their spend that they've spent with me. Okay? So, and I can keep going down all the way to 400 and whatever. But this is actually a true number. Okay? I'm not just making that up for the sake of a clickbaity YouTube title. That's downloaded straight from my Stripe. And if you need more proof, I don't know what else I could give you, to be completely honest with you. I'm going to explain this. This is the simple model that I've used to succeed online over and over again. I've been in the online coaching space for 6 years. I've helped almost 40 people make at least $100,000 a month with their coaching or consulting businesses. And I've now launched 3 separate businesses that have gotten to $100,000 a month minimum. And I've got a current one that I'm working on right now, and we just crossed 50 members and a $4,800 offer that has nothing to do with my YouTube audience. So this stuff works. I'm going to show you what belief engineering is. I'm going to explain how I'm using it to drive my business. I'm going to explain to you clients of mine and how they run it, and then I'm going to give you live examples of what you can actually do coming away from this video to apply this to your business to grow it this week, this month, this year. Okay? So let's do it. It's going to be really good. So belief engineering. So first of all, I want you to understand what we're doing. I'll start off at the front here. People buy based off their beliefs. If you can get them to pre-believe in what's necessary to believe in your offer, then they're going to buy. Without using guarantees, you don't have to use guarantees. You don't have to use hard sales tactics. You don't have to do anything other than just get them to believe a certain set of things. And it's way harder to say, hey, I'm trying to sell you something. There's something I have for sale. Here's what it is. It's much easier to pre-install a set of beliefs. Okay, so what am I talking about? Well, this is essentially very high level what belief engineering is. So first of all, you're attracting an audience or prospects through paid advertising. I'll show you organic examples and paid ads examples of this with pains or desires. So in your ad, you might call out a certain group of people, or in your content, you're speaking to certain groups of people. And what you're doing is confirming that an older, outdated way isn't working anymore, introducing a new, relevant, and easier way, getting to believe in it and its ability to drive the result quicker, faster, easier, with less effort, and more certainly. And belief 3 is the format of your offer, and that your offer will effectively install the mechanism. And then they're going to buy. Okay, so before we even bring up our price, before we do anything, we're getting them to believe in our way of thinking. Now, the emotions that we're trying to activate, because remember, there's no such thing as a logical decision, only such thing as an emotional decision. We're getting them to feel a confirmation of a fear. So this means, hey, you've been feeling this, I've been feeling this. Let's face it, this doesn't work, right? Or frustration or suspicion. You're basically getting them to feel like you understand them. Like, for example, right now, my whole business is built off of online coaching has gotten way harder. And I'm going to explain to you my belief engineer system here in a sec, and the series of beliefs I bring people through to buy my offers and my consulting. But the emotions we're trying to activate is confirmation of fear, frustration, and suspicion. And I want you to go for the jugular. Don't do these half-baked fears. Like, hit the real stuff, right? Hit the stuff that makes people kind of feel the pain of what you're talking about. And I'll give you an example here in a sec. Then with your method or your mechanism or your way of solving it, give them hope or excitement or intrigue. And by the way, you are not a mechanism. You have to have something separate from you that you even could credit your success to, that then people are like, oh, I want to try this for myself, and then they'll buy. Okay, and then clarity and certainty, because the format of what you do is like, oh my gosh, this could actually work for me. I could see how this could solve this problem or get me to this desired state, certainly, or faster, or whatever, better than other ways, and then that's when they're going to buy. So here's mine. My literal current set of beliefs that I'm actively trying to install into you so that you buy my stuff. All right? Just being real. Like, this is how I roll, and this is how I've gotten a handful of people that I've gotten to $100,000 a month there. My current is online information is harder than ever. So six-figure months are not like they were. You can't just throw up an ad and a basic VSL and get there. You have to be way more tactical than you had to be, okay? Ads are more expensive. It seems like everybody's becoming a coach. And so the real ones, the guys like myself, the guys like yourself, people who can actually drive real results for people, are competing for attention of other people who are playing attention games. And people playing attention games aren't always the best coaches. So we got to compete in this industry and in this market. So right now, coaches are held suspect. People are burnt out with buying from them. And coaching is very, very hard to do right now because of this. It seems like there's a lot of people becoming coaches. And it's becoming much easier to do. Lower barrier of entry. You've got more and more softwares coming out that are making it easier. So how do we stand out? Well, being intentional about our belief engineering. This is how we stand out. This is how I've stood out. This is how I've continued to thrive year after year after year. Literally, no matter the environment, I continue to win because I pick up on the top the feelings of the market and I speak to it with a new, better way. Building funnels or organic content around this system. I'll show you a paid advertising funnel of a client of mine who does $100,000 a month. His second month after being stuck at $20,000 a month, and that's, by the way, a 7x return on ad spend. Okay, and you'll see by watching my channel how I'm doing this organically. And then one-on-one with me. So my offer is $25,000 one-on-one, and I work with somebody until they're at $100,000 a month or for 6 months, right? And this is believable if someone has paid attention to me or followed me for very, very long. Like, it's literally like unlimited one-on-one meetings. We're going to Slack a bunch. I'm going to set up your funnel, and I don't work with more than 3 clients a month. I mean, sometimes I'll do 4 if somebody's like a really, really good fit. Right, and so this feels very, very believable, and people see my results, and they know my reputation and everything, and so it's like sale, right? So like, fear, confirmed, new way of thinking, believable, better, faster, easier than what they're currently trying, one-on-one sale. So let me show you my other offer. So our other offer works with Christian men who want more income. We show them, hey, the traditional pathway is dead or dying, and being broke isn't necessarily holier. That's ridiculous. We introduce to them a good model for making internet-based income, and then we show them how our group and our course basically guarantees success, and then at that point it's a sale. Okay, so you can see how we're working with the consensus of a market and juxtaposing it to our way of doing things, and that's how every offer I've ever launched has gone on to do well if you give me a bit of time to figure it out. All right, so let me give you an example of a client's offer. This is an $8,000 offer. This is somebody that took my one-on-one support, was stuck at $20,000 a month, and his second month he saw 6-figure months. Okay, at a 7x return on ads, and he's wanting to scale to $500,000 a month this year, and I'm continuing to help him do that because I've helped now a handful of clients do that, and building out your organization, building out your team, that's stuff that I love talking about. I mean, that's where you build real wealth, okay? So software engineers struggling to find a job. College boot camps don't work anymore. Software apprenticing, this is our new way that we sort of came up with together. We show how the program has a real-world environment and group and course that will actually allow them to have software apprenticeship, and then he makes sales. So let me show you this. You'll see how each of these stages works into each stage of his funnel. So he's got the ad here, okay? Aspiring software engineers, boot camps, colleges don't work anymore. DM me apprenticeship. I'll show you a better way of doing it, okay? Quick DM conversation, higher likelihood of consumption of the core message as opposed to ads right to the funnel. I love DM ads for this reason. We linked them a video. This is about a 20-minute video that you can see the stages here. So we're getting them to feel like college and boot camps don't work anymore, and that software apprenticing is the new way to do it at this stage here. Okay, so in your funnel, you got to think about what stages you're doing what. Okay, so college boot camps don't work. Software apprenticing does. That's what we're doing at this first junction point. As we move down the funnel, it becomes real-world environment and group and course. So we're getting to see, okay, wait a second. Once I've booked a call, they get sold deeper on the actual format of the program and how it basically guarantees results. They're also sold on that at the actual consult level, so they actually conduct the sales meeting, okay? And so we're walking them effectively from stranger to open to a new idea because the old way isn't working, to being sold on that way of doing it, to being sold on the format of the offer and how it's basically guaranteed to install the mechanism to sale. And in total, it's about, I'd say, 2 hours of content, maybe less, maybe about an hour and a half of content total from stranger to buyer. What a lot of people think when they're making content to get clients is if they just say enough stuff, eventually somebody will become a client. That's not true. You have to be more intentional with your message. And basically what I'm talking about here is messaging. But a good message isn't just being confident. That's not it. It's not being authentic. That doesn't do it either. A good message is, look, I have a better way of doing this. Okay, it's worked for me. It could work for you. Here's how it works. It's believable. And by the time somebody sees it and they understand it, then they're like, oh my gosh, how have I not heard of this all along? And right now, a handful of you are feeling that, and a small handful of that handful are going to become clients of mine. Okay, so that's belief engineering, and that's how I built the business that I built. Is with this YouTube channel. Over the years, I was making content that maybe it didn't specifically have this set of beliefs. At the time, the coaching industry was very, very different. Back in 2021, it was more like people just had no freaking clue how to do sales calls. So that I ran on that. Like, I was like, look, dude, if you just learn how to sell, you're going to make a ton of money, right? And then it was like how to actually build your personal brand. So I've always had these different things. So like, info is harder than ever. That is very true right now. Back then, it was like, how do you actually get attention online, or how do you actually convert your audience? Everybody kind of knew how to make content. How do you actually convert it? So I've always met people where they're at and had something relevant for them. Okay, and then I introduced a way that's current. And how I see my business is every 1.5 to 3 years, I kind of reinvent the belief engineering, that I walk people down, and then I run on that for a while, and then I reinvent it, and then I run on that for a while, and because the market's always changing and always evolving, and this is the same for your market, so it's always going to adjust slightly, you know what I mean? But the cores will stay the same. The core stuff will always stay the same, but the way that people are generally feeling is going to change, year to year. So that's it. That's like super high level. My favorite process that I reference every time I'm launching an offer, every time I'm consulting a client's offer, every time I'm building my business and trying to build my business. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this was a helpful video. Link is in the description if you want my direct support and you are serious about $50 to $100 to $500,000 a month. I'll show you what it looks like to work with me as a client, how we get to work and work on your business together, okay? Examples of other clients that I've gotten the chance to work with, and a peek inside of the mastermind group that you'll be a part of if you do work one-on-one with me, because it's not just one-on-one with me. We've got a really, really cool community of people who have all paid the $25,000 rate to become a client, and so it's all very serious people who are very serious about scaling their business. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.